cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes. Now don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. Every day, everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day, everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day, everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, beautiful people. How are you doing? Happy Friday, part 1. It is Thursday, February the 5th. How's everybody doing? We got a lot of birthday shout outs that we needed to do this week that, we low-key kind of forgot to do some of them on the show. So let's do a big birthday shout out to Miss Stacy. Everybody tell Miss Stacy happy birthday. Her birthday was on the 3rd. We had yesterday, Miss Alicia, happy birthday to you. She was celebrating a birthday as well. And then tomorrow, Marlon will be celebrating his birthday. So lots of friends and family in the first week of February already. Who else is celebrating a birthday? Give yourselves a big shout out there. Happy birthday to all of the February babies, first week of February. Thank you so much, Miss Evelyn there. Let me just go ahead and grab some links. And then I know that we have the minister coming on this morning, so he should be joining us shortly. Let me just see. I see some messages coming in. Okay. He's stuck in traffic due to an accident at Hurley's. Police are on the scene. Yes, that's fine. Don't worry. We always got stuff to talk about. Don't sweat the small stuff. All right. So permit me one quick second to go ahead and update our links, and then we will be on our way. Let me just see here. We're going to mute this, copy that, wait for that page to load. Instagram, how y'all doing over there? Everybody's beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let me see here. So we're going to update Facebook first, and then we're going to go back and do the YouTube feed. And then I'll refresh it and just send it out to everyone as a reminder that we are live. Don't forget now, the YouTube feed has 2 feeds now. One is vertical and one's horizontal. So depending on where you're watching it, you might prefer one over the other. Big screens, the horizontal works best. And smaller screens, the vertical landscape tends to work best. And why does it look like somebody been messing with my settings? Yep, somebody's been messing with my settings. Okay, let me just have a quick look here. All righty, looks good. So while we're waiting on the minister to come, we can kind of do a few updates here. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate Captain Jackson, who flew his final flight yesterday after 45 years with Cayman Airways. Can you believe it? 45 years at the same job. Most of us will never see that ever again. But yes, this is back in the day when you chose a profession and you stuck with it. So congrats to him. An amazing pilot, obviously. Really, a lot of people attended yesterday. I was so upset that I wasn't able to attend because I had another engagement. But I did have backup, someone to go in my place. And by all accounts, it was just heartwarming and amazing. And of course, Miami, he was flying out of Miami for his very, very last flight. And Miami International Airport acknowledged him and his efforts and hard work throughout the 45 years. And they actually gave him a cannon salute on the Miami side as well. So big shout out to Miami International Airport. I don't know how often they do that because I've never really ever heard of them doing that. So I thought that was fantastic. But thank you, Miami. And of course, here on this end, Cayman Airways had a nice evening planned for him. Water salute on this end and all of reception at the Georgetown Yacht Club as well. And like I said, I would have loved to have been there, but Mr. Dean Ramoon went in my place. So big shout out to Dean this morning. Thank you so much, Dean, for getting that coverage for us. We've got videos, we've got pictures, and we will be sharing those in due course with everyone so that we can relish in his retirement and celebration and wishing him, another 45 years of doing something that he loves. Probably not loving it as much as flying, but, hopefully his post-retirement plans are going to be just as amazing and a second chapter in his life. So yes, let me show you what pictures I have so far. I know I'm supposed to be getting more video footage. We did post the one from Miami up. So that was really pretty cool. And then let me show you guys here. We got some really nice photos. I'm going to do a little collage and post it up on the website this morning. Ministers came out. The premier was there, of course, the deputy governor. And it's just so nice to see. I love it. In front of our beautiful Cayman Airways plane. And I know so much of the staff really enjoyed working with him and have nothing but positive things to say about Captain Jackson. So warms my little heart. We got some great shots too. Good job, Dean. I tell you, love it. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share some of these. And of course, we'll be celebrating on social media and posting up the photos. Between, I think by tomorrow I should have the videos, and then we'll go ahead and post those up. But it's so nice to see that lots of people came out and were part of the celebration. So let me just show you guys some of these. All right, here we go. So we have some lovely pictures here that, again, Dean did such a great job. Is this his mom? This lady in the wheelchair? Oh. So there's one with some of the government ministers in front of the plane with the captain. We've got some candid shots with others. So here's one with him and Parliamentary Secretary Heather Bodden. Let me just see what else we got. We've got another one of him here. Of course, everybody showed up trying to get a shot of and a hug, no doubt, from him. So here he is getting a hug from one of the Cayman Airways staff. You know, it's so nice to see so many people who have stayed with this organization, not just the pilots, but like Lavon, I think now has gone over 20 years. I know Patsy has been there since Jesus was in slippers. So that's probably over 20 years ago. You know, so many amazing people have a long, extensive history with Cayman Airways. I think maybe is that his mom? I think so. So she came out for the celebration. I'm sure all of his family was there. Priscilla, did I see you mention the other day on social that he's actually your brother? I think I saw Priscilla say that. I never knew that. I must admit that I don't actually know him. But of course, I always feel like I'm in good hands when I'm flying on Cayman Airways. All of these pilots, I take my hat off to them because they really do a phenomenal job. So we'll get some more video footage and we will put that together. So again, congratulations. Let me also remind you, if you've not gone yet, to the John Gray High School presentation of the Addams Family. It's entitled Weird is Relative. That has more, you know, they talk about phrases and words having a double meaning. This one probably has a quadruple meaning. But there you go. Weird is definitely relative. But tonight is the last showing of the event. So I know some of you won prizes yesterday, which, by the way, I need to message you because I think how we're doing it is Ms. Marva said just to show up and you'll get she'll have your tickets at the gate for you. So let me just, out of an abundance of caution, just in case those winners are not listening this morning, I'm going to just send them a quick message to say, you know, just come early, get a good seat. And then you can get your ticket. Let me just say, good morning. Please show up at the John Gray performance this evening, and Miss Marva will have your tickets. Okay. All right. All right, good. Lovely. Let me see. Oh, I've got a message to school to let them know Gigi will not be in today. Oh gosh, I got to tell you guys. Okay. Let me tell you what happened to poor little Gigi, honey chill. So I think I told you guys on Wednesday, she was having her track and field day. And she won both races that she was in. In fact, she told me that they put her out, you know, they always do it kind of early in the morning. I wasn't able to make it in time this year, but some of the other parents sent me pictures. I do have pictures. There she is, running, Truman Bodden. She looks like she has a good little stride too, I must tell you. So they put her in with she's in the 3rd grade. They did put her in, she said, with the 4th grade group and she ran against them as well, and she won. However, now she's got a sore knee. Yes, honey child. Right after she felt it. And so I took her to the doctor yesterday. She was out of school. We did a doctor visit. Big shout out to Dr. Naranjan over at Health City. I feel like he's getting to see her too much now. It's like the wrists, it's the ankle, it's the knee. So he said, listen, it's a little bit sore. He goes through all the technical details, which he pulls out his little diagram and explains everything. But basically it came down to, you can't just jump up and run when you haven't done your stretching, you haven't done some warm up. And so this is a lesson for her, is that, you got to stretch the quads, the big areas, because otherwise when you run like this, yes, you won, but my goodness, you're going to have to pay the price a little bit later on. So poor little thing. She's going to be on pain meds and icing it, hopefully for just the next couple days. And so I'm going to give her a little massage afterwards, because I think that area would have been so tight that it just didn't give the knee and surrounding area it didn't have the stretch, the elasticity that it needed, So we do this. We go from couch potato to wanting to get on the pickleball court. And these orthopedic surgeons are like, ooh, hey, child, y'all keeping us in business with pickleball these days. So, yeah, she's out of commission for a little bit. But she'll be fine, poor little thing. But yes, honey child, there she is, bringing it home, running. The orthopedic surgeon said, I didn't really picture her as being a runner. Jim says the coaches should be teaching them the stretching techniques. Well, this is the thing. They don't really have a coaching program. They just do track and field once a year, and the kids just go out there and do long jump and all this stuff. I don't think there was really any training that went into this. They have PE, so I guess they're not really taking it all that seriously. I said to her, if you were in the government schools, honey child, you'd have to learn how to run. Because I'm like, listen, government school kids are athletic. They're on top of it. So I've been thinking about this from last year, because she won last year as well. And I'm thinking, maybe she's going to be a sprinter. Maybe she's got, I don't know about long distance, but who knows? Maybe she's got a knack for this. And so I'm going to explore some of the clubs, the track and field clubs. I'm going to explore some of the track and field clubs for her to see if she might be interested in, getting more involved in those things. So I think maybe we'll check it out. If she's interested, she can do it. And who knows, she might be a gold medalist one day. You never know. So that's the plan, Stan. So thank you so much, all of you who are thinking about her. And yeah. So now she knows you got to stretch. You got to stretch and warm up. And, when you see the athletes, you see them warming up even right before the competition. You see them jumping and stretching and all that good stuff. That's because they know that muscle and the surrounding supportive muscles and tendons and everything else needs to be warm. You can't run cold, So there's a lesson for you there. But yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Nathan. He said congrats to her. I hope she gets well soon. Yeah, so nothing that are little painkillers and ice and won't help. So we'll do all of that. So yes, so I think she'll be a little bit. She'll be fine. Strong Will says Gigi's got that Jamaican blood in her. Hashtag sprinter. Yeah, maybe she's cousins with Usain Bolt. Who knows? She might be bolting around the place a little bit more, please. Uh-huh. All right. Speaking of athletes out of Jamaica, did you guys see that really weird news where Epstein was interested in Jamaican athletes? Did you guys see that? That was like so bizarre. What is, let me turn on my other light. What is up with that? Ew. So, there's good evidence that this man was a spy for somebody. I don't know that they've ever been able to ascertain exactly who he's working for, but they think the Russians. And it would make a lot of sense. He was collecting a lot of information on people. Every single room in his house, even the bathrooms apparently, had cameras, hidden cameras everywhere. They found more hidden cameras in his house than Quaker had oats. And so there's this belief that he was an absolute pervert, disgusting piece of you-know-what, but he had access to things and his interests and some of the things that he did, even the questions about his money. Where did the money come from? All points to he was probably working for one of these agencies. And it also explains why he got away with it for so long. Because, he was arrested before the big takedown and basically got a slap on the wrist. Very, very serious allegations. Yeah, pretty shocking. And so somebody sent me a video this morning, which I have watched before, and I low-key believe it. Let me just see if I can pull this video up, and I'll show you guys this. It makes a lot of sense. There's some things that are just logical, and it explains a lot of the missing bits and pieces, right? And so this explains a lot of the missing bits and pieces. Yeah. So I believe it. I'm like, And I'm not, listen, it takes a lot to convince me. I'm just not a conspiracy theorist, but this one, I'm like, makes sense. I think you could be onto something. Yes, indeed. Okay. So it's downloading. I'm going to show you guys this one. But yeah, so he had some interest in Jamaican athletes. Why? I mean, what was that all about? He wanted to figure out how to clone the genes. Like, I don't know. Listen, certain things you can't replicate, right? Tell him, leave that alone. Now, for all of the disgusting things that this man was up to, I must tell you that apparently there's a video showing the emails where they did not want any Black girls. Praise the Lord and hallelujah. I'm like, finally, one time Black people can be left out of the equation. I mean, I'm sitting over here saying, thank God. I mean, no child should ever have to go through this, but they had a very specific preference. A lot of them liked the blonde hair and the blue eyes, those poor little girls. I figured it probably wouldn't have gone on as long as it did if you had, an African-American in there. Because, girl, when their mama found out, they might have come bopping you upside the head. They would have been like, you did what to my daughter? They were using the N-words. We don't want any little N-words up in here. And I think one of the emails is actually Trump, but he calls him something else. You know, Trump shows his age with certain things, like certain words and stuff like that he uses. He definitely shows his age. I can't remember what it was something that began with a B, and I've never even heard that word. I'm like, oh, is that a geriatric term for Black people? Like, I don't even know. So it's just really, really weird. But these people were sick. The more of this stuff I read, the more I'm just like, wow. They say now they keep counting the number of times like they go into the documents. And remember, not everything has been released, you know? I'm like, they had so much stuff on this guy. This is not just him, but all these other people. It is shocking. Now, here the UK. The UK has said they are now investigating whether or not some people on their end might actually be charged with crimes now that they have these documents. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. The United States of America had these documents for all this time. And you mean to tell me that they were not sharing these documents with their counterparts elsewhere? That is so wild, insane, and crazy. But yeah, the UK is like, we gotta be looking. You know who they need to charge? Andrew. Andrew is so obviously just as perverted as Epstein and President Trump. I'm not giving President Trump a pass. He is mentioned more times, I understand, in the documents than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible. Don't ask me how that's even possible. But people are counting. They're using all the tools to count how many times he shows up. And there are those of you who are still like, oh no, he wasn't doing that. And they were just acquaintances and friends. Well, you see what his rhetoric is this week, right? He says, y'all just need to get over this. It's time that we moved on from the Epstein files. And anybody who asks him a question about it, he gets really upset. So not for nothing, but a lot of reporters have been asking about it. And it's mostly female reporters too. And so I saw this guy do a video yesterday about how Trump is constantly attacking female reporters. And I thought to myself, well, that should be no surprise to anyone. I mean, I'm surprised that Trump is even straight. I'm going to be honest with you, because he really low-key seems to dislike women. But you have people like him. They're misogynistic pigs. They only see women for one sole purpose, and that's it. But nothing about this entirely surprises me. And in fact, when you look at Trump's history of the things that he has said about women, right? Even I have a video, I'll show it to you one day. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll show it to you one day where he talks about that some woman that he was sued for sexually assaulting that she won, that he was like, oh yeah, like she basically wanted to be raped. And it's like, what? But he said these things and you guys just, I don't know how you justify it in your heads. I do not know how you can think that he is a good Christian Republican. I'm just like, he's a what? Oh my God. He is sick. He has described his own daughters and engaged with them in a way that made me uncomfortable just watching it. Ugh. Anyway, I don't know what the elite art thing was about, why he was so interested in them, but low key, not good. So Jamaican athletes and runners, keep that formula to yourselves. We're not sharing that with anybody else outside the Caribbean. They trying to get research done on you guys. Tell them no, thank you. We're good. Tell them that's just growing up on some proper cooked food. Yeah. George says this could be the start of something big. Encourage her. I mean, you never know. You never know. I said to her this week, I said, Mom's gonna go talk to a coach about maybe getting you involved in track and field. Does that sound like a good idea? Might you be interested? She's like, sure. So I think she'll try it. Get her into a little routine, and we might have a gold medalist on our hands at some point. So we will see. All right, the minister, I believe, is ready. He got a taste of the traffic this morning. Let's go ahead and welcome him in the studio. So, folks, he needs no real introduction. All of you know the Honorable J. Ebanks. He's the Minister of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Ports. I keep forgetting transportation and ports. Not this morning. He's going to be discussing with us some updates on priority areas, including infrastructure, transport, road safety, and housing. We welcome him to the show. He was on with us last week and received such an amazing and positive response, but we didn't even get through past one topic. So you guys were like, we need him back. And of course he said yes. Put your virtual hands together, please, to the Honorable Minister J. Ebanks. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning to your listening audience, and good morning to my lovely people from the Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac.
So good to see you. I'm sorry that you got stuck in a little bit of traffic this morning. Yeah.
Comes with the days, I guess.
I know. That's why I'm refusing to move my morning show. I'm like, nope, I am not fighting that traffic every morning. Absolutely not. I will keep doing it right from home.
I walked out the door about 5 minutes before 6 and thought that would have actually worked. But again, I guess sometimes when the rain, we do get a traffic backup because of that. So thank God we were able to move around a little bit quicker once we got around the accident. We're here now.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, it's plenty of time, like you said, if there's no other incidentals happening. Well, we're going to dive right into it, Minister, because we got so much ground to cover. And I'm going to ask our listeners this morning to do me a favor. Hold off on the phone calls and questions for a little bit so that we can get through some of these key areas. And then towards the end of the minister's segment, we're going to go ahead and, take some of your questions and comments for him and his team. Even if they can't respond now, they'll definitely, for his next segment, they'll get back to you on it. So last time we kind of got stuck on, I feel like road safety a lot. We got to touch on some of the things because you've been doing quite a bit. All of the government ministers for each of their ministries, and some have more than one, to come on and share with us what is happening. So we, the people, can be informed. We can know what initiatives are underway. Some are at different and varying stages, but I think it's good for people to know exactly what is happening. So the National Road Safety Committee, do you actually sit on that committee yourself, or you just have representatives on the committee from your ministry?
That's correct. I don't sit on that committee. The chief officer sits on there.
Okay. All right. So that would be Chief Officer Eric Bush, who sits on that committee. So let's talk a little bit then about some of the things that they have been working on, because of course, Cayman is averaging 10 accidents per day, which is shocking and unbelievable. And we also have a higher rate of fatalities than we would like. So I know that the government has this long-term commitment for the National Road Safety Strategy, where we're really trying to reduce the number of deaths to zero. So we've got this, broader overarching initiative of Road to Zero, which is trying to get to zero fatalities by 2038. So let's talk a little bit about this, if you can give us some updates on where this is and what we're doing with it.
Thank you, Sandra. It amazes you, as you just said, we're going through at least a minimum of 10 accidents a day. Mm-hmm. And our fatality rates in some of these accidents are very high. One of the things that we are looking at mm-hmm. is, when we're coming back, is our safety standards for our vehicles. Mm-hmm. Because that was something that we started off with, and we're realizing that a lot of the accidents that are fatality accidents, the vehicles that are coming here, especially from the Japan domestic market, aren't meeting the safety standards, don't have any safety standards. And what we wanted to do now is we're creating our safety standards to match the US safety standards and the UK safety standards. So when I say matching the US safety standards and the UK safety standards, what it means is that um, any vehicle that is made that can go into that can be driven in the UK or can be driven in the US will be able to come to the Cayman Islands. Now, a lot of the, I would say pretty much 95% of those vehicles that are in the Japan domestic market won't be able to come to the Cayman Islands anymore. They will not meet the standards. But that doesn't say that we won't be able to get certain Japan vehicles because Japan does make vehicles that can go into the US and into the UK. It's just that they have, it's just like the, let's just say we pick one brand, let's say Honda. Honda makes two different versions. So they make a version for their side, but they have the California emission standards and everything else that they have to meet to be able to enter the US market. So when we actually roll this in the safety standards in, what we're looking at as a government also is actually kind of rolling back the years that we put on vehicles that could be inputted into the island because a vehicle that is almost 15, 20 years old in the US still meets all of the safety standard needs from what the market of the Japanese would, and they're better quality vehicles. The reason why we had to go down, why we're pushing to go down this road, is because when you get a look at pretty much seeing the record and hearing from the courts and the courts coming back and asking us to look at this because they're seeing more and more, and they realize that you know what, if this vehicle had better standards to it, this individual probably would have survived. So what I don't want people to think is that, oh, you know what, we're just putting another law on because you know we want to stop vehicles that are coming in here. It's not about stopping vehicles. It's just that I want to make sure that when you buy a vehicle for your child or for yourself, that you're able to drive that vehicle and get, if you do get in an accident, your the opportunity of you actually getting in a fatality accident is lessened a lot because those vehicles now, the strength of the vehicle is totally different. We make sure that I was trying to remember the technical words of it exactly, but I'm not a technical expert in that area. But all the crash bars in these vehicles tend to not crumble as easy as any other vehicles.
Right.
So there's a very lot to do with it. I mean, you see it most of the time. If we say a Honda Fit, it gets in an accident for one accident and then it goes to the landfill, and that's it. I mean, rarely can barely get back on the road. The chassis is twisted, something happens. So that is one aspect of it. That's pushing that, and we think by pushing the safety standards for vehicles will definitely help us to continue to get to that number that we want to get to by 2038. And I think since the last time we spoke, matter of fact, I think maybe on that same day, we had actually just put out for an RFP for the build out of our speed cameras. So that's exciting news to know too. That's we're headed that direction now. Getting that stuff started to work on, going out to look for the consultant now to help support the team, so that we can start to work and get speed cameras installed in the Cayman Islands. The legislation work is basically already done, committed in. So we're at the next phase of just the build out of a camera system now. A lot of people have been asking for it. Over the years, I've been hearing this for years and years, saying, why don't we put speed cameras in? So it's on its way now. And hopefully once, people get there, they're not going to be saying, oh my God, we're getting tickets left, right, and center. But again, we need to figure out how we're going to protect our people. We're protecting our people that are riding on the road, people that are walking on the road, but also people that are using their vehicles to drive from A to B. We want to make sure that you're getting there safely and on time. That's another thing too.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, that's very, very interesting developments on those two fronts. Thank you very, very much for that. So, I think that it's interesting. I also am not an expert. I was just looking up quickly about the whole Japanese market situation, but I do know that they themselves have very, very strict requirements for what they allow on their roads. And that's one of the reasons why they have so many exports. And there's a whole market that has been created around that, especially for the Caribbean. And so a lot of these model vehicles are exported, and they obviously end up here in Jamaica and other countries around the Caribbean. They're relatively cheap compared to what you would get if you were going through some other channels in order to get them. So
One of the things with it is the reason that they become so cheap is because there's only a certain term limit that they can actually be on,
that's
on that
right.
road.
That's
And
right.
after that, it's like I think maybe 4 years
4 years.
that
Yeah.
they're on there, and then after that, that's it. It becomes they are parked into this car graveyard, and then the Caribbean becomes a huge dumping ground for them, right? Because so the only how they get rid of them is actually to start to sell them very cheaply.
Yeah.
So you think about if someone's telling you that, well, I'm building a car, but it's only good for 4 years in my country, but you can take it and maybe get another 10 years out of it in your country.
Yeah.
It raises your eyebrows on it and
Yeah.
questions about it.
Well, for sure. And I think part of the issue is that they have very, very strict inspection requirements, and it becomes more expensive to keep an older car. So this is one way in which they kind of force older cars, off of their streets and out of their system completely. So it's pretty interesting. Any considerations when it comes to, and of course, we're going to get to transport here in a second, but this is also tied in to perhaps road safety. We're looking at an influx right now of a lot of the micro mobility devices, and there's been a lot of discussion around those as the compliance now is going to be coming into force as of March the 1st. But any considerations of how the ongoing influx of those, and I don't know now if the regulation and enforcement of those regulations of that industry will make a difference, but any consideration and the balance between the vehicles that we have on our roadway versus the micro mobility devices, which are increasing quite a bit as well.
Well, let me start off by saying, Jan, I've heard in the last week that people feel that the government is trying to just block e-bikes, and then this is going to force more people to want to just get into a car and everything else. I think that's absolutely not true. And again, I just heard someone just saying recently, they were saying, the government put this in place and blah blah blah, and I said that's absolutely not true. This was in place from 2018. Again, it's just been, I think it's like something that was running under the radar, I would say, and then all of a sudden now we start to see an influx of it happening, and now the enforcement side of it is saying, wait a minute, now we start to need to do something about this. So it's not that we want to make it harder for device, but we want to make sure that they're riding safely, they're obeying by the law, what the road code says, and actually making sure that if they do get into an accident, or God forbid someone of a vehicle knocks them down, that there are some coverage for them, protecting them also. And because there is a liability on them also as they get onto the street with this particular whether e-bike, e-scooter, whatever we're talking about. So really this is asking to be able to put some protection and belts and braces around this for the safety of your people also.
Yeah.
But it's funny. some people just, I think some people take it out of context about it. And then some people realize at the end of the day, I told him, I says, I could remember when back in the day when I had to have my bicycle actually license and I couldn't actually ride it without that on the road. That was a long time ago, but then that faded out. But um, again, our bicycles at those days weren't doing the speed that these particular bikes are actually doing. I mean, these bikes are actually almost at the speed of a gas bike right now, a motorcycle.
Mm.
So we need to make sure that there are some belts and braces around them. It's not getting out of control. And yes, there will be some bickering about it, as usual of anything, but it will actually take its time, and I think it'll wear right in. I know my Kimanian people, from hearing from them, at
Mhm.
some point in time, it will actually just soften right in. Sometimes, as we say, it's just a storm in a teacup right now.
Mhm.
And it may be one of those things that it's not, some of the political side of things, people take it and run with it and try to play politics out of it. But absolutely not. It's about making sure that we're putting the safety in place. So,
Mhm. And we had on Tiz Romano yesterday from Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, and she made a very good legal point because she said basically these micromobility users are, as you rightfully said, using the same road space. They are getting involved in accidents. We've seen some very, very serious,
absolutely,
and they need coverage and protection themselves. So they should see this as
absolutely.
something that they're very pro for, because here you are on a scooter that's doing 15, 20, 25 miles per hour, and something happens to you and you have no insurance coverage.
That's
you
right.
know some of the businesses that are renting these out, yes, now they have to get compliant and they have to get coverage for their fleet, but think about what that means for the tourist that comes here and rents a micro mobility device, and they fall and hit their head on the sidewalk, heaven forbid, and then they've got $100,000 medical bill and no means of covering that because there's no insurance in place.
Yes, absolutely.
It's people have got to think about the legal components of what they're actually doing, and worse yet, if the micromobility scooter is at fault, then you have an innocent party who will have no coverage because the law is not properly being enforced. And let me say this: the government has an obligation. I know a lot of people are not thinking of this, but you see that there are times when the government can be sued, as is the case with someone who died in a Honda Fit incident. And
Correct.
the government is being sued over whether or not they adequately were enforcing the airbag replacement, because remember, a lot of these units now have defective airbags, and so licensing DVDL for years has said they're not going to pass any vehicle that doesn't have it. Now that family is suing the government to say they could have been and should have been doing more. So government, in all fairness, cannot expose themselves to ongoing liability where people say, hey, why didn't the government ever enforce what's on the books? Now we're going to go after the deeper pockets here, which would be the people of the Cayman Islands. So something to think about from a number of different angles when it comes to road safety, really. All right, let's talk about a few roundabouts here. We have one. I saw somebody just comment in the section. I think that was KK saying, "Why do we need another roundabout?" So she's talking about the one now that the NRA has just announced. Let me just see if I can find a picture of it. Actually, that they have just announced that is going to be coming
Agricola.
online. Yes, this one's going to be coming online with roadworks starting on phase one. Will be starting on February the 13th. So, folks, if you've not had an opportunity to see this release yet, I'm just going to show the photo of what this looks like. But why another roundabout?
Well, if we could look at it and say, well, why not another roundabout also? We see that the road comes to a junction stop right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we could look at it and say, well, this isn't working either. So we need to put a roundabout. And the one thing that roundabout actually does, it allows traffic to move slowly and continue to move from different directions.
Mm.
We see what the backup of the traffic is happening with this one particular road right now. And we're hoping that by putting this roundabout now,
Mm-hmm.
this would allow the traffic flow not to stop, but have a transition, kind of a smooth flow right around as they continue to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I am also putting and telling NRA they need to have that roundabout finished for the agriculture day. I'm
Mm.
pushing to make sure that is actually in there because we need to
Mhm.
have that for our traffic management
Oh,
because
yes.
for agriculture coming up.
Mm-hmm. So we see the before and after pictures here, folks. So this is the before. So this is what it looks like currently. And
Currently,
really, this is because that new connector road has opened up. And, you know, Minister, it's so shocking that that new connector road isn't even properly paved yet, but so many people have been using it already
huge.
because, you know, we have a lot of traffic going out to the eastern districts. And even last week, I think it was one day, Marlon was trying to tell me how to navigate it and try to cut out some of the traffic. And I kind of got a little bit confused when I came back on Shamrock. I went the wrong way and I was like, oh man, I was supposed to turn left and not right. But anyway, so yes. I mean, roundabouts make logical sense, you know, from the perspective of traffic flow. And I think if people actually knew how to use them properly, we would have less issues with a roundabout. So maybe we could beg for some additional sort of, you know, PR and just education on an
Education, how to
ongoing
use.
basis on how to use things like roundabouts, how to properly use crosswalks. Because I get complaints all the time about people trying to use a crosswalk, cyclists and pedestrians, and they don't obviously know how to use a crosswalk.
Absolutely.
So that has to, I think, be, you know, public service announcements just on an ongoing basis. But this is what the drawings are for what it will look like once it's completed. And
Yes, I
again,
think, Sandra, just so we are getting in, thank God, I probably get a share of complaints about this side road coming
mhm,
off of the east west. A lot of people were complaining that it's backing up the traffic. Some people call me and tell me, so listen, I can get home so much quicker now that it's open. I
mhm,
almost want to say I get a 50-50. Now,
mm,
we'll probably get a lot of complaints when I say that today, but anyhow, it goes with the territory.
yes.
But I can almost guarantee you that this route coming from the bypass is so much faster that that's why we're getting more people to go the direction from the Newland side to
Mhm,
cut the bypass Savannah and be able to move on. I mean, we've timed it several times. We ran the traffic models on it. We've did it live, basically in rush hour times, and no matter where you come out at input, this is usually a couple minutes ahead of going the old traditional way.
mhm,
And I mean, we've did it all. I've tried it. I can tell you, me and Minister Isaac have both tried it several nights coming home. He goes one direction, I go the other, just to see who actually will come out ahead of each other, and it actually works. It allows the traffic to move a lot quicker. And one thing is that I know that once we finish this roundabout,
mhm,
hopefully the bottleneck that we get with the stopping there will allow that transition to be a lot more smoother, and it won't get that backup that we were seeing before. But again,
mhm,
once the east west continues to push just across this particular Agricola section and is connected to Wheel T and northward, I
mhm,
think then that makes a huge difference again, because what that allows is that traffic flow that's coming out of those two particular roads have an alternative now. They can actually be split and go stay on the east west, or they can actually come back on the traditional Savannah Road.
mhm,
So um, the number of vehicles that actually are coming out of those two particular roads is extremely high. And I keep saying to people, sometime I think at one time it was like somewhere around 800 vehicles. And
mhm,
you think about that, how many times stopping in and out traffic to let someone in and out of those particular roads, um, is that's a huge amount of times that you're stopping within an hour, 2 hours during that morning traffic flow.
mhm,
So we need to continue to push to get the road to be able to open up the backside of connect these particular roads because there have been subdivisions that are built in there that is just a large influx of vehicles and families that live in these areas. And we need to
Mm,
have alternatives to be able to get in and out. And I think once we do this, we'll start to see another ease again from the eastern side of the island. And then the next huge one will be connecting up the Belford area to the back road. And so once that is actually connected, so if you think about how large Belford has grown and Lookout Garden in that area, how much traffic flow is coming in and
mm,
out of that and meeting the top of the road there by the Town School, and trying to get onto this one particular road that we got everybody from the east and north side, breakers trying to continue to navigate. Um, you can see why we're having these long hours of traffic problems.
mhm.
And I mean, now there's going to be people that disagree with me on it, but again, NRA ran all of their traffic models on it, and it shows that once this particular road actually gets to these connectors, we will see a huge difference.
Hmm. All right, we're getting requests in that vein for updates on the east-west arterial and where we are with that. That's been discussed for a number of years now, probably 20 years in the making. Are we any closer? I see that obviously you're talking about different segments of it
Mhm.
actually being done, but what is the sort of larger plan, and what sort of dates and timeframes do we have?
So, Sandra, I've been told by my team that we should have the final layout of the east-west and be able to carry the cabinet paper to cabinet within about the next 2 weeks. What that does then is gives cabinet the right to go out to do the gazette of the final road, and then gives NRA the opportunity to be able to go out to start to do the design and build of the road. So um, the goal for NRA for this term is that they think that we should be able to get the in east west close to some just past the Lookout Garden,
Mhm.
um, but also working on a lot of our other connector roads that we need to do that we need to work on. Which one of the huge ones is redesigning the King's Roundabout. So, or
Mhm.
sorry, not the King's Hurley's Roundabout.
Mhm.
So we're finishing the design of the King's
For the
Roundabout. My
King's
apologies,
Roundabout, right.
but we're actually working on the new design now, and we actually have I think there's 4 or 5 different models of what's going to happen um,
Mhm.
when it comes to the Hurley's Roundabout. Now, um, I think we all have our choices on those designs. I think each one of us have a different inputs. I think one of the best things I'm going to probably challenge NRA to do is that they look at some of the best ones that they think,
Mhm.
and the ones that we split the difference. Maybe we should do run a something on your show,
Mhm.
whereas people could actually say they can look at it, give their feedback of what they think. Also,
Mhm.
is going to be some of the best, one of the best choices because one of them will entail maybe putting traffic light signal lights out there. Um, the other one entails of just putting direct roads straight through it, redesigning the roundabout. So there's a bunch of different ones. So I would love to get the feedback of the people on that to see what they feel is
Mhm.
probably some of the best solutions. So maybe we could be able to share that with you
Sure, that would be great.
so that you could actually put it up for us so we can look at it and see what's going to look like, what the people's choice is on that.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, no,
Um,
that sounds fantastic. So we have the
yeah,
completion of the King's Roundabout, and we see that they've been working on that for quite some time. Is that going to be another lane? It looks like right by DVDL running that stretch, there's a whole other lane that's being created.
so the whole design of the road was always to have 3 lanes in, 3 lanes out.
Okay.
So we built the 3 lanes on the going out. We're just waiting on CUC to move one pole. Hopefully they'll hear me today. Can you help me with this? Get this one pole out of my way, and then we'll be able to get that that third lane finished and completed going in. Once we're moving from there, then it's connecting the King's Roundabout. From the King's Roundabout, then we also connect Edgewater, which is Edgewater is the road that runs behind what I would call the Country West, the old Country West, or the Country Western Bar, connects all the way up to Hurley's, so that when you're that road now will move from Hurley's, will be going and connecting up to Prospect, Marina Drive, those areas. We were just in talks and looking at those roads just yesterday. How we're going to we're looking at the models of that, because what that allows now is pretty much all of the traffic that's coming from Selkirk, Marina Drive, Prospect, to take that particular road to get to their home, and allows the mean highway then to be able to flow going east a lot quicker. So we're hoping that once we start to look at building in this particular connector road to go to Prospect and Marina Drive, that the flow of the traffic in that King's roundabout area there and the Hurleys will be a lot better in the future. So all of this road initiatives is what NRA has their mandate that they're going to be working on for the new year. We also have one of the main roads is the Olympic Way, which is the connector off of the Linford Pearson that connects that goes down to Burger King on Walker's Road. That will help relieve a lot of the traffic flow coming off of Linford, because what we're having now is a lot of people that want to get to the school zones in that area are still, if they're not all going south sound, Walker's Road, they're actually clogging up the Linford Pearson, and then they're turning off to go down towards prep school. And what we're finding is that we need to find a quicker solution to get them. Now, this road has been gazetted for quite some time. A lot of people, when we came in, we looked at it, instead of putting a 6-lane highway through that, we narrowed it down to a 2 lanes instead of going through the middle of the forest, because it's in the Ironwood Forest area. We sat and we met with the Department of Environment and came up with a solution with them, and they asked us if we would look at moving the Gazette over so that we actually skirt the boundaries of the road, so it doesn't go through the Ironwood Forest itself. So we've moved the Gazette of that to actually skirt around the edges of it instead of going through the middle of the Ironwood Forest. And the reason that they've asked us to look at doing that also was because when we years ago there was a fire just outside of that area in Windsor Park, and a lot of that area has been burnt down and was destroyed. So by moving that road, we were able to not destroy anything and narrowing it down just to 2 lanes instead of 4 lanes was a lot easier. So we've got the support of actually moving that road forward. So we're going to continue to pushing that. And it just shows it's the work, working between the environment and NRA to come up with the solutions of how they think the road should be made. And that was one that I think we walked away very happy on, that we both were on the same page on that one.
All right, very good. It's nice to hear some of these updates. We really feel like the needle is moving, and we do have questions coming in, and I want our listeners to be patient. We're going to save those and do a question and comment dump sort of at the end, which will be coming up here shortly. Minister, are you still on for 9:00? Is your hard stop this morning, or do you have a little bit extra time?
At 9:00, I've actually just told him I'd probably be 10 minutes late, but
okay.
Yes.
All right, so we'll work with that. So let's talk a little bit about the public transportation reform, because of course we all appreciate that a lot of the issues that we're facing, even some people are feeling the need to go to a micromobility device because they say, hey, there's not proper public transportation in place. So this is something that the government has got to get a hold of and come up with some solutions. So where are we when it comes to public transportation reform?
Well, thank you, Sandra, for the question. One of the things that we are looking at when it comes to public transportation is it's split, actually. So We have the taxi side of it, and we have the omnibus, the public bus side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what we want, let's start off with the public bus side of it, because I think that's probably the side that's hindering mostly pretty much everyone in the eastern side of the island. When it comes to transportation, what we thought about is the biggest upgrades that we want to do is actually looking at putting the devices into these. The starting part of it is actually putting the devices into these buses to be able to track them. And we may have mentioned that on the show last time.
Mm.
We're looking at putting in the camera system and the GPSs into the
Mm-hmm.
buses. We've worked on our app system that we want to implement.
Mm-hmm.
We've using the app right now, first off, more for the trying to get it more as we call it the Taxi Go app, and using it for the taxis and kind of trying to making sure that we're getting all the kinks out of it before we go live with it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things is to actually use that app on the Omni side of things for the public bus. And that will allow people to be able to track the buses, but actually look at more getting more bus stops in place, more modernizing of the bus areas, so that we can make sure that our people are not only when they're taking a bus, but they're not having to wait. So when we look at this whole approach to our buses, it was trying to figure out we don't want someone to have to wait no longer than 15 minutes on
Mm-hmm.
a particular bus. That was the main thing. If we can say if we can get you that you're standing in a bus stop and you have a bus crossing every 15 minutes, or you're knowing that you can track a bus, that's where we want to get to. Now, at the end of the day, further down, once we put into the system of the GPS, the next stage of this is to look at where we're going to be able to have a bus run 24 hours. So whether it is the private sector that fills the gap for us with this, or whether the government has to look into actually putting their a bus system in for themselves, whereas this would actually entail of having a larger bus that would run the main highway of the island, so it goes from West Bay straight to East End, North Side. But having a bus that's running 24/7 at night that you can actually pick up, and a cashless system also. That's another thing that we're working on for the bus operators. Is how do they actually so they can run a cashless system to make it a lot easier. Because a lot of the bus owners also said that that's one of their concerns is moving around at nighttime with a lot of cash on them. So we
Mm-hmm.
want to get a system that makes it a lot more easier for them. That it's just like a more like a tap and pay as you go system, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all of this is in the works and moving, continue to move. We have an excellent team on the in the ministry that's working on this. They've continued to push the needle. I want to. Some people say it may not be as fast as we want it, but what we got to remember, we have hundreds of bus operators and taxi operators that
Mm-hmm.
we have to deal with at the same time, and we want to make sure that we're getting the buy-in from them also, and they're being a part of this. I didn't take the approach that we're just going to design this, do this, and then here you go, you're going to have to obey by it.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually had the engagements with the taxi operators. We had the engagement of our tour operators. We have the engagement of our bus operators to make sure that they are all on board of what we're selling and to know that this isn't just about us, it's about you. How do we make your lives a lot better? So it's a few hundred people. I can tell you when we have a room that we call a meeting, it's a sometimes we don't even have a boardroom big enough to actually hold the meetings in the government building. But it's continuing to push down the road there to make sure that we get it. And I'm hoping that by the one of the end games will be by the time we get to the very final part of it is that you'll actually see where we have that 24-hour bus sales system in place. But the next system will be is the quickest system is actually adding in the GPS and making sure that our buses are doing the full route. That is one of the main things. That GPS system will be able to tell us that they're doing that full route instead of having someone out there watching them 24/7, see whether they're doing the full route.
Very good. All right, so lots coming down in the pipeline. I know we wanted to touch on public and affordable housing, but if we can leave that for your next visit, because we want to get a little bit deeper into what is happening there. And let's go ahead and open it up now for some questions and comments. So we have a few that have come in. This person says, anonymous question, please. Where are they going to get the material to finish the new road? Because I hear the quarries are running out. Oh.
Well, I have not heard that from the quarries. The quarries are happy to know that we're going to be pushing the road. And one of the things I've actually asked every quarry owner, and I said, are you going to be able to keep up with the demand that we're going to need? And every one of them have assured us that they will be able to keep up with what we need.
Okay. How many quarries do we have in Cayman? 2, 3?
No, maybe about 5, I would say.
Oh, okay.
4 or 5, somewhere around there.
Okay. All right. Next question says, morning, Sandy. I hope that in addition to the safety standards for the cars and speed cameras, that MPJ also puts in place stricter guidelines for getting driver's licenses, as well as looking into updating the written and driving test, as well as looking into which countries we accept license from to exchange for our Cayman license. Now, I think you touched on this last time, if I recall correctly, to say that there were some potential changes in discussion.
Yes, we did touch on that last time. And I mentioned that we will have to probably go back and look at some of the agreements that we have on how people actually can just come here and be able to get a license. And I know some of the agreements that we've had with some of the other countries was basing, just going back off of I think it was one of the agreements that we had with the UK. And the reason that we actually put that in place was because trying to help our younger kids that were overseas, so that when they get a license over there, it's a lot easier for them. So we were kind of matching back that, but I think that's something that we're going to have to look at again. I've made a note of it, and how we can look at, definitely, I think it's something that we need to take on, how we look at stricter driver license for individuals. More again, it's just more education on how do we continue to maneuver on particular roads that we have.
All right, very good. Another question that has come in, and then we'll get to some in the chat as well. This person says, good morning, San. I'm joining in now. Can you ask the minister of these cars driving around with the loud music and the bass turned up so loud, is it against the law? Something has to be done. Too many people on work permits bringing in cars to sell. Some get some stupid Caymanian about partner and then give them a little $500 for each car that they sell. The same for all these pop-up rental car agencies. It would be nice to have the West Bay Road paved from Villiers the Galleon to just past the governor's house. That road is disgusting, and tourists seeing it, it's so sad. So a couple things mixed into that one. We got over 400 people listening to the live stream here this morning, but the first question really is about loud music as people are driving in their vehicles. Any laws against that?
There is a law in that. That's just something that the police needs to enforce. But I guess one of the things that the police is going to, because one of the things I keep hearing is that for loud music is the police need a decimal reader. So that they can say that, yes, it was at this, decimal or whatever, to be able to enforce the law. What I've been hearing, because I've got my share complaints on loud music down in Rum Point Sundays and Saturdays, and that's what the police have been telling them. And of course, so it's in the law already for the enforcement side of it. But I think that's something that the police is just also asking that they're looking at getting as a decimal reader, so that they can actually be able to hold people more accountable for loud music.
So, I mean, I would have thought they would have had one already. So this is just something that they just don't have.
As far as I've been told, I think DEH is the only one that has one. Okay. And I was very shocked to know that DEH had one and no one else had one.
Someone's asking if there's a time frame from the public bus system.
The time frame for the public bus system, the first phase of it, I am keeping my fingers crossed and pushing on my team to see if we can have most of this, a lot of this engaged and in place by hopefully by Q3 this year, and the first phases of it, and then we start to move on into the next phase. We didn't put in the budget this year a purchasing of any buses because we didn't look at that, but hopefully a majority of this will actually be put in place. That by the time the next budget comes around, if this is something that we feel that the government needs to get into, then we're going to be ready that all of this work has been done and we're able to put it into the budget to be able to purchase a few buses to move to the next direction.
It's going to take a minute, though. So I think people need to be realistic about the rollout of these things. It just doesn't happen overnight. So Ms. Pat says education and defensive driving course would be good. Jim says, but that law for loud music is not being upheld. And Damien says noise pollution, the same as jailbreaks on trucks. Jailbreaks on trucks?
Jake breaks. Yeah.
Jake breaks. Oh.
So
Okay.
what I can say is in the last sitting of Parliament in the last administration, we actually brought that forward then of Jake's breaks. So Jake breaks is actually... So Jake's breaks is that loud clapping noise that you hear coming from the dump trucks, heavy equipment trucks.
Oh.
I'm not going to do the sound that Kenneth did on the radio one time about it. We could play that back, but how he did it, but it sounds similar.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's actually illegal to use now.
Oh, okay.
So people need to. That's something that we need to continue to push out there in communication, do a lot more comms on. That has been enforced in the traffic law that Jake's breaks is illegal. So we got to, and I'm one of my members that constantly remind me about that, said that we need to, and matter of fact, I think it was just yesterday or maybe last night, they sent me a message about Jake's breaks. So what we need to do is to make sure that the police is going to be enforcing that a lot of these truckers aren't using the Jake's breaks. It's not needed to be used in the Cayman Islands. Jake's breaks are used for when you're coming down off of a mountains and high range areas.
Okay.
It's designed so that because most of those trucks run off of air with the brakes, so that you don't use out all of your air coming down. So you engage the Jake's brakes to allow the engine then to do the braking of the truck. Cayman Islands doesn't have any mountains. We're flat, so there's no reason why we should be using it. I think a lot of drivers use it just to hear the sound of it. They like it. That's probably why.
All right. Seems to me that maybe licensing should make them take those off before they can get approved for a license. But there you go. All right, let's continue. Thank you so much, Liana, sending through some questions. So Liana says, what is government going to do with the 500 plus cars that are banned due to the year? The ones that are banned from importation. Now that was put in place a couple of years ago. So I guess whatever's here before that would have remained, but nothing new would be coming in. Yeah. Let me just see. Strong Will says the roundabout at Newlands makes no sense. They should make it a four-way. Some people don't know how to use it. Which roundabout Newlands are we talking about?
That would be the little small one that they just put in place next to Mr. Rankin's house there. That's the one that they've been talking about. Some people have written to me and said that maybe we should turn it into a four-way. We've asked
the gas station in Countryside. That's what we're talking about?
No, this is the one that when you're coming into Newlands. So that comes off of the east-west.
Off the east-west. Yes. The little miniature one there. Oh, I see.
So I passed on the information to NRA. I've spoken to the director before about it. I think he will end up running the traffic models to see whether the roundabout is more efficient or if it's a four-way, how with it? Because we could put a four-way in, but that four-way may slow the traffic down a lot more. And then the other question could be one of the things is that I know he's got the design of that particular roundabout there. So he's going to be building out the larger roundabout quicker, that area, so that we can get around. So this was just a temporary measure. So I know most of the properties that was in the area there that we needed to purchase, we purchased that already, so that he can go ahead and start to do the build out of that particular roundabout. So if they just have a little patience with us and NRA, they will start to see the transitioning of that roundabout there, the larger one starting to happen, and the way to move forward with that. I can maybe by your next show, I'll be able to share some more data with you on that, whether a four-way is more suitable, or we continue with the roundabout that's there right now.
I mean, the thing about it, though, Strong Will says some people don't know how to use it, but it's like any other roundabout. So if you don't know how to use that one, how to use the ALT one, which is actually 2 lanes and a little bit more complicated. So maybe it's not about changing the road infrastructure to suit people because they don't know how to drive. Maybe it's about making sure that people know how to drive and how to use these roundabouts, because that roundabout is theoretically no different than any other roundabout.
It is no different.
There we go.
It's just a little bit tighter, that's all.
Yeah, the size is smaller, but people just gotta pay attention. Minister, I wish I had this footage to show you, because you would be shocked. But the guy whose car got hit, he hasn't yet released it to me, but I saw it because I had to help him download it. One of our my sister company that we have, which does retail, we've been doing dash cams, and I'm having to put in a new order because so many people are seeing the need for dash cams in our roadway. The great thing about these is there are 3 camera dash cams. So you get interior coverage, exterior, and the rear. Now, let me tell you how important that rear can be. So this guy runs into him right on that stretch there as you're coming into the CNB roundabout, passing the education. There's a crosswalk there, and you're passing the education building. And you could kind of see, it's recording the whole time. You see the guy coming and stopping. This is 5 o'clock traffic, stopping. And at one point, he just isn't paying attention and runs right into him. Guess what he was doing? Why he couldn't pay attention, and he ran into this taxi driver.
I assume that he was probably on his phone watching Instagram or something, Facebook.
He was eating a whole plate of food. Minister, It wasn't just a patty and a jupina. It was like a plate of food, and the man you could see when he hit, and the food almost like flew up in his face. He was down in that plate of food, yamming it like this. So he wasn't even looking at the road because he was eating dinner in 5 o'clock traffic. You can't make this stuff up. Then when the driver says, okay, things happen, people don't pay attention to the road, pull over, he leaves the scene of the accident. So it's a good thing that he had the dash cam, because not only could the police then see exactly who the driver was, but then they were able to get the license plate number, and hopefully by now they have tracked that driver down. But more importantly, having that rear camera allowed them to see exactly what kind of careless driving he was doing. Because of course he could have made up any reason why he ran into him, right? Now we saw
the food was good that he was eating.
He was eating dinner. Oh my gosh. Shaka Zulu says streetlights are much more dangerous for managing traffic. Stats show that more deaths occur as streetlights than those produced by roundabouts. So thank you, Shaka, for that. Abemo, I don't even know what that name is, says road deaths can never be reduced to 0, even if you remove all the vehicles off the road. When there were only 2 cars in Cayman, they got in an accident with each other.
That's true, but not doing anything isn't any better either.
Right. Yep. Our population is unruly and indisciplined. I think it's undisciplined. And our police are incompetent and lazy. Oh my goodness. Sustainable has a question. Good morning. Is the minister able to confirm if the technical EIA and costing has been finalized for the EWA to Lookout Gardens?
What I can say, Sandy, is that because my colleagues haven't seen the final draft of it yet, I would prefer to just wait until I present that to them in 2 weeks. And then we'll be able to give a full update going forward from there.
All right. Sounds like the answer is yes, but
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
fantastic.
again, I just want to make sure that we're got the blessings of cabinet before we do them, make any more
Sure.
announcements.
Absolutely understood. All right, Miss Barbara joining us this morning. And again, thank you so much for our astute listeners. We see people on Instagram, 459 people now in the live stream paying attention. Miss Barbara says, I was behind a lady who stopped for pedestrian crossing light. She sat there after the person passed for the light to go out. Okay. Sustainable also asked for the EWA. The minister mentioned a realignment of the current route and a new gazettal. Is he able to share why and where the deviation will be? So I think the short answer to that is more is going to be coming in due course.
Correct.
All right. Aliano said someone suggested certain roads become one way at certain times of the day. Has this been looked at? Now talk about more accidents.
It has, Sandy, this is something that we've heard, at least I've heard for quite some time, that we should just make certain roads one way for certain periods of hour, times of the day. And this is something that we've had discussions. I know NRAs went back and the director went back with it to take a look at it to see if it's something that's feasible, if it could work. I haven't heard anything back on that yet, but I'll make a note of it to be able to ask him for a question on that again.
Okay. Miss Sue, good morning. Sue Parsons says, good morning, everyone, and honorable minister. North side looks amazing. Job well done. East End, too, is looking fantastic. However, to get to both of these districts, we have to pass through Bodden Town. Oh, my goodness. In the Gun Square Historic Center, are there any plans or thoughts about how we can address the updating and upkeep of this beautiful district area? It's a question all the time about what the representative of Bodden Town is doing, to be honest. I mean, we can see when representatives have the initiative and desire to get things done at the local level within their districts, it is possible and it can happen. So probably the minister isn't going to touch that, but the question is on the floor, Minister, if you'd like to say anything.
Sandy, what I will say is that sometimes I drive through certain areas and I see things and the locations that I wonder, why is it that we're not enforcing more on particular households to be able to keep, especially if you're on the front line, to keep your yard a little bit more tidy, less cars, vehicles out of it, those that are working on vehicles. It is something that that we need to look at. I'm always happy to work with the member for Bodden Town on anything that he needs help from the government and how he thinks that he improving Bodden Town. Not just because he's sitting on the opposition side, that means that we would, we're saying that we're not doing anything for Bodden Town. If there's something that he thinks that needs to be done, some beautification work or something, although beautification doesn't fall under me, it's with the deputy premier. I'm sure that he's only a phone call away to be able to help and assist in any way, because it not only it affects every one of us, but also the tourist that drives through. So the helping hand is always there. If they want it, if there's a committee out there that's wanting to do certain projects in the area, we're always open to figure out how we can help. One of the things that falls under me as minister would be the parks, looking at updating the parks. As you know, we've just finished the one at Peace Bay. We're looking at putting some more cameras. I'm just waiting on the invoices to come in now to update the Bodden Town Park with some security cameras in that area. We did a few work in that area now, and what I want to do is make sure that the park is being utilized for what it's supposed to be utilized for.
And someone's asking about the beautification committee, if maybe they couldn't be assisting with that. Tony, good morning, sir. How about closing the Grand Harbor roundabout entrance to Shamrock Road and sending the traffic to the east and the next roundabout for traffic to South Sound and Crew Road? So I think, wasn't that the original proposal? I think, if I'm understanding what Tony's suggesting. And then there was some kickback from people who were living in the Grand Harbor area saying that they wanted access to be able to do that roundabout there, which is very dangerous. I mean, every day I see near misses. I'm surprised there's not more accidents, but I certainly see a lot of near misses in that area. Yeah, that roundabout is there's a little bit too much going on at that roundabout, because you've got people coming from down Crew Road where Shamrock kind of gets started properly. Then you've got people coming from South Sound, and then you've got people who want to take the roundabout to get back on the South Sound. Then you have people coming out of Grand Harbor. It's crazy.
It's a busy roundabout. It is.
Mm-hmm. Very. Tartarian says Bodden Towners need to take pride in their district. That's true too. And keep it clean. Stop expecting government to do everything. Clean your mess. No arguments there, Tartarian. But I think there are some derelict homes that have been there since like Ivan, that nothing has been done. But I think the point, Tartarian, that maybe this listener to the program is making is that the elected official could really do a lot more to motivate even his, the residents, especially the ones that are right on the roadway. It's like, come on. The one district that's a constant eyesore is Bodden Town. It's something else. Strong Wilt says Northside is the prettiest district on the island. Minister, that must make you feel good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ranford says, good morning, all. Thanks for the great minister for the job that he is doing. Aisle 2025, we're going to start to wrap up here now, says, haven't heard much from the opposition regarding what they're doing for their community. They still have to work. They know that, right? We'll pass it along. I'm sure the deputy opposition leader, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, is listening this morning. Jim says Bodden Town used to be a quaint, little and tidy area, especially driving along the waterfront, but has since changed. There are some property owners maintaining while others aren't, and it makes a huge difference overall. Carrie from the BRAC says the Grand Harbor roundabout is dysfunctional. Jonathan Adam, hey Jonathan, the dangerously constricted roadway of Bodden Town proper is one of the main reasons for the necessity of the EWA as an alternative route. That road was never intended or capable of handling the amount of and type of traffic which it now has.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure. Strong Wilt says Bodden Town looks like a junkyard. Lord have mercy. Please, anyone on John John's committee, let him know. He's got some comments here for him. Liana says, need to look at the beach in West Bay, Boggy Sands. The druggies be there and the beach is full of trash and nasty. Oh boy. Carrie agrees that Northside is beautiful. Same goes for Bodden Town Beach, says Leanna, with the drugs and so forth. Even the public beach. Now, beaches don't fall under you, Minister?
Public beaches, yeah. All of the public beaches do, yes.
Oh, okay. So let's ask a question, because we did a poll last year and it was almost unanimous where our viewers felt like it's time to clean up, in particular, public beach, where we should not allow any vendors on public beach at all. It was like 99% of the people who voted say no vendors allowed. Any possibility of making that happen?
What I can tell you right now, Sandy, is that we are actually in discussions right now about the vendor policy and looking at particularly 7 Mile Beach, of how vending is happening out there and cleaning up 7 Mile Beach to make it a whether we narrow down the amount of vending and what type of vending is being done there, or we just go and say that there will not be no more vending at all. Again, we have to remind ourselves too that these are young Caymanians, or not all young Caymanians, but they are Caymanians that have started their business. Some of them, has had bad habits before, and have, paved themselves into a new life, and then this is the way that they continue to keep themselves out of reversing back, but be able to put food on the table for their families. We want to make sure that whatever decisions we make, we're making it the right decisions for them also. So if we do take a stand and say that there's not going to be any more vending on 7 Mile Beach, we are looking at also alternatives where we could say, okay, this is going to be an area where we're going to allow vendors to be able to be. This is going to be an area where we're going to be able to allow. We were going to want our cruise passengers to be able to be dropped off to be able to see what vending is, what we have to offer.
Yeah.
So it's something that I've heard here. It's something that I've heard on the FCCA on the cruise lines also. They flagged how vendors are being on the public beach. They've shared their concerns with us. Matter of fact, I have a meeting next week again with the cruise lines about vendors also on public beach. Because every time we have an incident, I can tell you it spreads throughout every one of the cruise lines. And I get a call telling me about what happened down there, whether it was someone being harassed, marijuana smoking.
Yep.
One of the big things is some of the way that jet ski operators are operating down there, the amount of chairs that we're having on the beach. There's numerous amount of stuff that's always. I can almost tell you that being the member for PLC alone now, and the way that we look at beaches is almost taking up a full time as a minister over anything else that I've got going on. I could tell you. So we are working on how we're going to be looking at this, and we, as I said, right now. As a matter of fact, as I get off of the show here today, one of the things that we're actually going to be looking at, one of my next meetings, is to actually talk to some of the vendors, but actually looking at visiting one of our beach sites that we have to see how we're going to be able to protect this area and have discussions about that. So we are on top of it.
All right. Well, I can tell you what, the resounding response in the community is to remove, El Rey says it, remove all vendors until a proper solution is created. I think, unfortunately, when you start to allow some, then there's debate about who's being allowed and why. And I mean, it's just such a, I think it's somebody else, Leanna, Aisle 2025 said no vending, and that was the large. But we'll do another poll again. Just to take
so what I was going to ask you to, if you could actually share that poll with the number, the data for that, because that would be helpful for me when I'm going to my colleagues to let them know.
Yeah. We'll do another one just to get updated one. Well, thank you so much, Minister. I know you've got to go to another meeting. Juanita says Northside is beautiful as always. That's my hometown. I miss up there. Thanks very much, Minister Jay. Keep up the good work. Happy Thursday. Keep up the good work too, Sandy. Thank you so much. And we appreciate the minister being, Jim says, are vendors really necessary? Big up Northside indeed. Again, Minister Jay Ebanks, Minister of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, it's a long one, and Transport and Ports. He's got a lot. We do have questions about all those other things, but don't worry. He's committed to coming on at least once per month for his Ministry Matters segment. So keep the questions rolling, and we'll get through all of these different discussions that fall under his area of responsibility. Minister, we really appreciate you for coming on the program today.
Thank you so much. And I do apologize for being late. And I was hoping, that we could actually spend a little bit more time. But again, as you did list out, it's planning, agriculture, housing, infrastructure, transport, and ports. So it's a lot. So I need to share my time all over the place. I can tell you, my time is driven by my calendar right now.
Yes.
So thank you for having me. Thank your audience for all of the good wishes, everything that they said. Thank you for shouting out for Northside. Hello to my Northside people. Thank you. And thank you for electing me and giving me the opportunity to serve on your behalf. I will continue to push and do what I came here to do. And sometimes that's making the tough decisions that people stray away from. But that's what I was elected to do, and to continue to make a difference for the people of the Cayman Islands. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much. And Minister, I can tell you that the numbers at one point over 463 people listening. And I'll leave you with this positive comment from Mr. Darren. He says, this MP's performance exudes a spirit of excellence. I'm a Trini, married to Caymanian since 1992. My in-laws reside in Bordentown, and I've witnessed the overall decline. But Northside is a beacon, the benchmark in Grand Cayman. Wowee. That must make you feel so proud, Minister. Thanks again.
Yeah, kaboom.
Kaboom.
Cut.
There we go, folks. Thank you, Leanna. She said, yes, give the minister kaboom. C. Ebanks says, good morning, Sandra and Mr. J. Thank you for all that you're doing. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Inspiring says, J. Ebanks, a good man. Clean and straight says, that was a great information session. Thanks, Minister J. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for the feedback, because, you know, we have a number of the ministers who have committed to coming on the program as part of our Ministry Matters initiative. Again, this is something new with this current government. And, you know, it's fantastic to be able to see that there's a number of them that you'll be hearing from. Of course, we have Minister Ralston Anglin, who will be back, we're hoping, in another couple of weeks. I think there was a few things that he was actually working on as well. But yeah, I mean, listen, the ministers have to know that people want to hear from them. And when you've got almost 500 people listening here, that's not even including radio, countless more in radio. This is where it's at, right? So thanks again to Minister Jay and his team, his amazing team, that make this possible and do all the necessary arrangements on his end. Big shout out to Miss Ann this morning. She was up at midnight last night sending me show notes and all sorts of stuff. And I was also up. I should have been sleeping, I'll be honest. But I was also up and saying to her, thank you, Miss Ann, for all that you do. We really appreciate you. And big shout out to Chief Officer Mr. Eric as well. Auntie Sandy, you have to get on the ball with visually displaying the ministers being covered by the visiting ministers. Huh? The ministries. Okay, wait a minute. Being covered by the visiting. Oh, you mean a list? Yes. I think, Shaka, you had requested this last time, because there's a lot of not just like plans, but there's like public lands and all these other things. We'll see. I'll put it to his team to see if we can get like a list. Let me send this right now before I forget, because I will forget. Yes, thank you, Shaka, for reminding me about that. Ms. Lucy says, Minister, I agree with you in the public beach. I like your input so long as they operate in the right manner. The problem is, I'll tell you what's difficult with it. The issue is you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. I mean, I hate to say this, because I'm sure there's one or two really good vendors out there, you know, that are doing the right thing. But it's hard to control once you say yes to one, then they all get in their feelings. They get competitive, as you've seen, beating each other up, fighting each other over, you know, who's going to get access to the vendors, and they're fighting over vendors. And it's like, oh my God, like what the hell? Yeah. And when he just said that this is the stuff that gets back to the cruise lines, oh, that's not a good look. It's not a good look, because we as Caymanians don't even get to enjoy the beach without being harassed, right? You got illegal and legal vendors. You got people out there selling booze. We've seen them in court before. So it's like a free-for-all. Once you allow one or two, everybody else thinks, oh, well, I can just go out there and set up an illegal tent. Who's going to be enforcing it? And the poor PLC enforcers, that's the Public Lands Committee folks, they're scared of some of these vendors. Low key, they are straight up afraid. Oh my gosh, it's like the wild, wild west out there, honey child. All right, so aisle 2025 says, which MP is next? Well, I'm happy to tell you today. Mark it down in your calendars. Up next, we have the Honorable Premier, Mr. Andre Ebanks. He is coming on Monday. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Jim says, great show, full of information. Desita, sorry. I was trying to put that together. Desita Anderson says, all sitting MPs should take a page out of Jay's book regarding their district. Sean Wiltz and Sandy, very interesting show. Good job, Sandy. God bless you. Thank you so much, Strong Wilt. Sarah's in the house, said would have liked to hear his thoughts on the traffic now in Lower Valley caused by the new road opposite Agricola. He did touch on that, actually, so you might have missed it. but he actually did touch on that. So maybe just hit that rewind button a little bit and you'll get to hear that. But there are additional things that are coming down the pipeline that he indicates, as it gets expanded more and more, that will also help with the traffic flow as well. Will you send an invitation to the opposition? I'm curious to know what they're doing for the people. I don't see any updates from them. Well, it's funny you should ask that question because I believe they have a standing date with Radio Cayman. So they were actually over there talking to them maybe yesterday. So Radio Cayman, bless their little hearts. They have, somebody was telling me, so I went to have a little look. They are updating their studios. Because remember now, the last premiere, Juliana O'Connor Connolly, said that was her favorite radio station. And so she was going to give them a lot of money, into the millions of dollars, for them to be better. And so I understand that they have received said money, and now they're trying to figure out before the fiscal year is over how to spend the money. And how they're spending it is upgrading the aesthetics of the studio, like adding wood panels on the walls and stuff like that. I mean, that's nice. Y'all will see what I've been working on when it's time. Not time yet, but I got a little surprise for y'all coming hopefully next month or the month after. Keep that on the wraps for now. But what I will say is this. The aesthetics of a studio, especially when the aesthetics, these are the, I know exactly what they are because I've recently purchased them myself. They're the wood panels that are designed for acoustics. So they have foam behind them, but they have like a better exterior look than just a regular foam that you would stick on the wall. How can I put it? Let me put it this way. That's neither here nor there. Because do you believe that Radio Cayman has an aesthetics problem? Acoustics, not aesthetics, an acoustics problem. They don't have an aesthetics problem either. Like, are you really sitting there looking at Mr. OC going, oh, OC, we want you to look better, put on a little bit more lotion? Nobody cares. That's not what y'all are looking at. And certainly if you're not listening to them, that's also not the reason why you're not listening. Or not the reason. Not the reason why you're not. Yeah, I think I said that right. Right? So it's a little bit weird. But I mean, I like the look. So let me show you what they're doing. So this is it. This is their new wall. Okay, looks good. Did that make you listen more? Or do you want to listen more now that they have wood panels on the wall? The acoustics at Radio Cayman have never been an issue. Radio Cayman's, listen, I love Radio Cayman. I have been there in the studio, behind the scenes, in the booth. And I've always looked at, I'm like, oh my God, you guys can do that. You've got all these fancy, high expensive PTZ cameras and whatever. They have it all. And none of that really matters at the end of the day, right? So technology is fine. And I love technology and I believe in investing in it. But they've already had great tech. Does all of this studio stuff need to be updated? This is how we waste money as governments, right? Yes, it's pretty. And so what is the question? Anybody going to listen more now that they've got acoustic panels on the wall? Probably not. They need an overhaul in a different kind of way. But hey, I'm not a consultant for Radio Cayman, so sorry. Can't help you, honey child. But they will spend the millions of dollars because then, they can't justify the cost. Once the renovation's over, we'll do an FOI because they won't be able to justify the cost if they don't spend it. That's the thing with government, right? You allocate something in the budget for a department, and instead of encouraging the department to like, okay, let's save money where you can, if you don't need to spend it because your acoustics are perfectly fine, why redo walls and all this kind of stuff? Well, because they say that the next time we want money, you're not going to give it to us if we don't do that. Now, look at this split screen. When I saw this, I said, oh, low key, this kind of looks like the same system that we're using. Little budget CMR over here. So I want to go tour Radio Cayman again. Radio Cayman, can I come get a tour once you're finished with your renovations? Look, it's almost like the same Same split screen. If I can come and get a tour, I'd be happy to. Because I just want to see where the money's gone, really. Anyway, good shout out to my friends over there, Miss April and all the rest of the team. All right, honey chow. Let me see here now. What else we got? Miss Pat says, I wish all ministers were able to come on and engage with the people. Thank you, ma'am. I will send all of your feedback to the ministerial teams, and they're listening. I know they're paying attention. And yes, he's blazing forward. Hint, hint. Most of them are actually willing, though, so I think they got to just line up their schedule. But the one or two that are not, they're doing so to their detriment. That's all I can tell them. People like, where they at? Where they be, honey chill? Okay, thank you, Miss Pat. Minister Jay, you're a beacon of light showing what it means to be an excellent public representative. Wow, you guys just love Jay. I love it, Minister Jay. And keep the comments coming, because these ministers, they hear so much negativity all the time that I think when they are doing a good job, when we are proud of them, let them know. Yes, I love that. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sure the minister appreciates it as well. Go with the police. Go where? Jim says apparently they have done it already. May be incorrect, but sounds as though it's been completed. It's the hosts that make a show, not the decor. And you don't need a lot of money. Let me be clear. You do not need a lot of money to pull off. Look at Sabrina's studio. Oh my God, I love her studio. I need to go visit her. But she does little things in the background, sees that. What has she got up now? I haven't watched in a minute, but Christmas is over. So what kind of decor does she have up for the new year? But she just keeps things. And it's not a lot of money. We did have to import some sound panels for her because the room that she does her show out of wasn't acoustically friendly because it had really high ceilings and that sound. So the lower the ceiling and the more padded you can have like ceilings and walls, the better. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But look at what she's done with her studio. Her studio looks beautiful. And I agree, Jim. It's the host and the content that people are most interested in, not even the decor. Look at me at my printer in the background. I should move that printer. Y'all are low-key like, why is Santi printer always showing? I'm going to get a green screen, though, so I can start doing some fun backdrops as well, just for fun. Aisle 2025 says the commercials and radio came out are so long and there's no way to interact or ask questions besides calling in. It's 2026 and we want to type it out and the host read it like what you do. We're at work. Kaboom! Kaboom! You're right about that, honey child. It is 2026. Get with the program. Hello, Miss Sue. Barbara says it takes guts to come and stand and face the public where they are. CMR is and will always have, my apologies, the most followers as it feels like family. Kaboom, Sandy. Aw, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Like I said, sometimes we're a little bit low-key dysfunctional, but we're still family. So it's all good. I appreciate it. They try to make OC look a little bit handsome. Aw. He is handsome-ish. He's very fit. Someone says that Radio Cayman does read WhatsApp comments. Okay. Let me see. Next up, Sandy, I soon boom to Radio Cayman and leave you. You're going to kaboom over there? Maybe not. Okay, Tony says, maybe not. They may be afraid of you. Oh, we're talking about the ones that won't come on. It's not me they're afraid of. It's you, the people. Low key, they don't want your tough questions. That's what they've said about coming on CMR because we read all the questions in the comments, as many as we can get to. And so they don't like that. Well, they got voted in by the people. How can you be afraid of the people that voted you in? That's crazy. Hello, honey chow. Good morning.
Good morning, honey child. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored beyond all measures and sad that I just woke up in Miss Minister.
How you sleeping in?
Certain people won't allow me to go to bed at night. They has me up on the phone all hours.
Well, I know it, not me, so I don't know who those certain people are, but you got to tell them. 10:30 is bedtime. Oh, that's Cece. That's Cece. Oh, my goodness.
I know you are the lady with the plan. I know you're the action lady.
Lord.
I know you're the one that get things done.
Oh, my gosh.
And after I tuned in and realized that minister was gone, I called him and he didn't answer. So, okay.
Oh, you were calling? Where were you calling?
No, I called him.
Oh, direct. You were calling the minister. Oh, no, he's.
Yeah, when I realized that he already come off the show.
No, he gone to another meeting, honey child, so he can't answer you.
I called him.
Yes, okay.
And he didn't respond. So, I wanted to find out, and I don't know if you'd be able to find this out for me. Building codes. When it coming on keeping your buildings decent.
Yes.
Who is it that goes out to property owners and says, hey, your building is looking deplorable and it needs an upgrade, and we need you to upgrade it in certain time, along with fencing. Look at that fence out there coming off of Growing Avenue by Royal Bank. That fence is right in town, and it has been torn down and an eyesore for years. Who is it that is responsible for things like that? How can we get someone to get out? And I will strongly believe it's planning, compliance, to go to these people and say, hey, look, this needs to be fixed. This building needs to be redone. Look at the building on Eastern Avenue there where Bananas is. That's a proper eyesore. And for years it's been that way. So who is it? And that's why I was hoping I got up in time to get on the show to ask Minister, who is responsible for the to speak to people or to enforce the upkeep of properties, especially business places. But I know that you would be able to reach out and find and get that information, because, as I say, you're the leader with the plan. When you speak, you get action. Oh my gosh, you really do.
Oh my goodness,
you really do come through and get action.
Wow. And thank you.
I commented on go with the police. You said that Public Lands Commission people are scared to go on the beach because they're afraid of you. People go with the police. Have the police accompany them. There's certain areas in Georgetown when I request DEH assistance to go in there, and the people are hostile. Go with the police. They just need to go with the police. I mean, nothing wrong with just calling and saying, I need your assistance. And I'm sure once they call, the police will come and go with them.
Yeah.
It's easy as that. But then if you have if it's like something that you don't care about, you're going to find any kind of excuse. Action speaks louder than words. If you're keen on getting something done and you're afraid because of the people are hostile, there are other avenues. It's like there's more than one way to milk a cow, I would say, or skin a cat. You understand? So to get the job done, to be effective, bring in whoever needs to come in. Yep. Show some guts and get some backbone, and let's see if we're gonna get things done. Simple. But enough is enough. And if they really want things done, they would do whatever it takes to get things done. Which means go with the police, get the police to assist you down and go to the beach. Or go wherever needs to go. Simple.
Yep. All right, my darling.
People just like to talk. To just what did Jamaicans will say, they love to run the M16 with no bullet. Have a blessed day.
Coming out with big talk this morning. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, honey child. Thank you, Miss Amelia. Kaboom for her. You see, Ebanks says, yes, please give Miss Amelia a big kaboom. People have to take more pride in their properties. We need to start enforcing by issuing fines for those property owners to clean up their nasty properties, period. And I agree with that 1,000%. If it takes enforcement, then y'all need to clean it up. And some people are so nasty, and then they want to talk about, oh, well, we don't have the money. Honey child, if you have the money to build a building, like she said, bananas is an ugly building because they just don't keep it. It looks disgusting. I'm going to be honest with you. It is one of those buildings on Eastern Avenue that makes you feel like you just left Cayman and transported somewhere else. They could keep the place kind of neat and clean and do a little power washing and paint up the building and freshen it up a little bit. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lady D says, well, I hope the people's eyes have been opened to keep this all in mind when exercising your rights in the next election. Wanting votes, then after they're elected, the people get ignored. Mm-hmm. This commenter says, we try to get all the comments coming in. I think somebody was sending me, we got multiple phones now. Hold on, let me check this other phone over here. But this person says, morning, MPs who are suddenly scared of their constituents should never get back in. Mm-hmm. Honey child. Okay. What I can tell you is yes. Okay. This person says, good morning. The buses has time Monday to Friday. No bus time for Saturday. The North Side people be suffering. The only bus available for North Side is Anne Marie. Jay needs the buses to run the same time as Monday to Friday, like they use the same time, like they use it the same time on Saturday. Okay, I will forward this on to the minister's team because I think what you're saying is like weekends have reduced hours, which I don't know why. You would think that maybe they'd even have more on a weekend. Lord have mercy. All right, let me see what else we got. Sandy, go to the Epstein files on the DOJ website and type in Cayman in the search. Oh, Lord, no. Somebody from Jamaica trying to link us up. Oh, my sweet. This is a little lady, looks like, messaging me, says, hello, Mr. Shields, 2026 blessings to you and your family. Linking you from Jamaica. Thank you so much for helping to keep us all in our toes concerning the weather affecting the Caribbean and Jamaican. Oh, this isn't Mr. Shields' number. Let me just, Brian Shields, but I will forward this to him. I'll forward the message. But yeah, oh, honey child, that's not his number. Okay. All right. Somebody had lost something, but then they found it. Okay. Good morning, Miss Sandy. How are you? I'm seeking your assistance and guidance when you have a minute. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, honey child?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the weather.
Yes, very nice.
Maker, whoever you call the maker. Thanks.
Yes.
I'm going to go back and listen to the rest of this show, but I want to touch on something that seems to be, nobody seems to care. Speeding. I can't get anything done, so I want to see if you can get something done before someone gets killed on the stretch of road, please.
Okay.
When you come off of Watercourse Road here in West Bay and you hit the junction where it becomes Northwest Point Road.
Yes. And
you take that left to go to Cricunk Restaurant and the Turtle Center.
Okay.
We know it, the Turtle Farm.
Right.
It's happening all day. It's happening in the evening. And the speeding is horrible. You have, when the cruise ships are in, the public transport buses speed, the most of the tour buses speed, And then you have your regular residents speeding with their regular cars, and then you have a lot of businesses that deliver goods down in this area, mainly the companies that supply the restaurants and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The speeding, Sandra, on the road is horrible. Something has to be done. Speed bumps are going to have to be put in, just like they were put in on Watercoast Road. There are now 4 speed bumps on Watercoast Road.
Mm-hmm.
There's none on Northwest Point Road.
Mm.
And if you go from the other end of where it meets Town Hall Road and goes off to Northwest Point Road by the little West Bay Public Beach and the launch and ramp that's there, the speeding is on that end also. I spoke yesterday to a police officer, and I have made about 5 calls in the last week and a half. A call before the last call, the police officer, a foreign officer in West Bay, hung up on me. And her excuse was the police does not have enough resources. And I cut her in and I said, you don't have the resources? So why is our commissioner in the House of Parliament a couple of weeks ago saying that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and he's been given the money he needs? So then a couple of minutes later, I get a call from the police station. It's a Caymanian officer, an Ebanks, a young lady. And at this time, I'm frustrated and I'm aggravated. So I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to butt you into your conversation. And she says to me, are you going to listen to me now and let me talk? That's how the police in West Bay, Sandra, speak to us here in West Bay, whether they're foreign or whether they're Caymanian. It seems to me attitudes are rubbing off on people. And I told them, I said, you all are being paid handsomely well because you just got raises because Mr. Walton is trying to hold on to his officers, not lose the good ones he has. And I said to her, I said, but let me tell you what I tell all the police officers, because you all are becoming very rude here in West Bay and you don't want to assist to nobody. It seems to be when a member of the public calls you, we are bothering you. I said, we're not bothering you. You have a job to do. You need to learn to do it. And I said, one of the things you need to learn is some respect for the public, because you want to come to us for information, but you got no respect for the public, and you don't want to assist with the minor things that are big things in the communities that you serve. I left a message for the community officer to call me. I don't know whether the officer isn't on yet, but it's going on 2 days, Sandra. 2 days. And there's no call. I need to see if you can send Mr. Walton an email and ask him to put a vehicle on this road to see what's going on before someone gets killed. It is used by the bicycle tour companies that we have here, whoever operate them. The other day, I witnessed about 15 cruise ship visitors coming out from the turtle farm. That's where they come from. And a car went by and was doing about 60 miles. And the people had to pull off at the side of the road. You have children down in this neighborhood that play. You have exercisers that go out and exercise, people exercising, people going for a walk because they want to see the scenery. They don't want to see crazy drivers on the road, Sandra, okay? Please, I'm begging you, if you could do that for us down in this part of West Bay, because apparently the police community officer don't seem to want to call, and it's been 2 days. It don't take that long, okay? Another thing, don't worry about Radio Cayman, honey child, okay? It might be our radio station.
Well, that's the problem. Is it's our money when you think about it.
We need to worry about it money-wise.
Yes.
But as for programming-wise, I'd rather turn you on, or I'd rather turn on my app I have to listen to some music. Radio Cayman programming has to be improved, and Radio Cayman needs to learn that it's not all about commercials. It is about hearing what the people have to say and stop cutting people off when people have something to say, but you got to go to a commercial break.
Yeah. Let me say this because you know, it's
I'm not beating up on them.
No. And I think this
has to be improved somehow.
Yes.
And they need to listen to what the public is saying.
Yeah. And I what I want to say, and the reason why I want to say this is listen, I'm concerned. Obviously, I'm in this space, so it's a little bit weird sometimes talking about them, right?
You're doing an excellent job because we know you want to fix things in this country. But if we have a radio station that is the people's radio station, the people should have their voice.
Absolutely. And this is where there needs to be a rethink of what we're doing with Radio Cayman.
Yes, ma'am.
They're trying to fit in a space that makes no logical sense. So if they are a commercial entity and they have to run all these commercials to make money, that's one thing. But they are government funded to the millions of dollars with our money.
People's money.
So I think they need to pick a lane. You either go fully commercial and you're responsible. Yes, you're selling your ads, whatever. You're responsible for paying staff out of that and making your own way. Or if you're truly going to be the government owned radio station, don't even allow any commercial activity on there. No ads, no nothing. So that they can focus on what should be their core. Yes. Yeah, because otherwise
more local programs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I haven't listened to Radio Cayman on a Saturday in years, but I remember they used to put on a cartoon segment for the children. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to.
Yeah. Well, you can find one on CMR TV if you want to watch one.
Yeah.
An animation show. And an art show every Saturday morning. But more shows to come.
If you are the people's radio
station, we got a youth show coming on board. 2 youth shows, in fact, but one is going to come sooner.
You keep going forward. Because
Thank you, honey.
It's going to force everyone else, including all that money that comes from Scott, and we know who. So do a little bit more programming concerning Cayman and what is going on right now in Cayman. Cayman is at a crossroads. Whether some people think Grand Cayman is the only part of the Cayman, and then Grand Cayman and the sister islands, however people put it. We are the Cayman Islands, and we should have a radio station that is geared towards Cayman, not geared towards commercial. Yes, you need commercial, but you need to understand that when you do a program that means and is something about this country, it should come from our radio station, Radio Cayman. But when it becomes, as you say, you got to choose whether you want to be an enterprise making money or you want to be the people-funded radio station doing what the people need done. That's where the conflict comes. I think I keep going back and telling people this. Some businesses in this country, this is a developing island nation, got too many chiefs and got no Indians. Everyone wants to be a chief, just like in the police service. You know, I even called Borden Town Police Station because for the better part of last week, the RCIPS mean number was inoperable. I asked to be transferred to the traffic department. I was told by the young lady, their phones haven't been working in a whole week.
Oh, really. Lord have mercy.
So go get them fixed so the public can come to you.
Oh, wow.
The police have a sore taste. I have a sore taste in my mouth for the police. I'm sorry. I have no use for them because they are, like I keep saying, they are rude. Mr. Walton needs to do a serious customer service training with his officers. And if he wants some free help, I'll gladly volunteer for him. Because I will.
Yeah.
When a member of the public comes with a concern, you must address it. You don't poop it and brush it under the table and say, and I told the officer, and I'm going to finish here, I said, ma'am, the Caymanian officer, the Ebanks, says, I'm going to embarrass all you on a talk show. You don't want to do what you're hired to do. You want to make excuses to the public. But I said, let me leave you here, ma'am. When it becomes that it's one of yours that it affects that gets knocked down on one of these roads and is killed or injured for life. And you got to go chasing down some idiot that not got no insurance and not got no license for money to help take care of you. You ain't going to get none. I said, maybe then all you will do something when members of the public call with their concerns. I said, when someone gets knocked down and it's one of you all, you will do something. And I said, you have a good day. But I said, sweetheart, I'll tell you, like I told the other officer, if this is how you come with your attitude to the public, well, if I could see crime happening when I pass, I wouldn't do nothing. I said, you would be the last number I pick up to call. You want to hear what the officer came on? An Ebanks officer, lady officer told me? That's your right, sir. I said, yes, it is. And I said, you have a good day, ma'am. That's the service we get at the West Bay Police Station.
Lord have mercy.
Kindly send Mr. Walton a message and ask him to put a patrol car on the whole stretch of Northwest Point Road.
Okay.
He might be doing everybody a favor. And we need, I miss Mr. J, but whoever's responsible for speed bump, we need some on Northwest Point Road. You can put them out 50 feet if you want, because you need to save lives there, please.
All right. I'm sending him a message right now as we speak. Thank you, my dear.
I am one Caymanian. I tell you this all the time. I am proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep speaking the truth. Don't care what nobody says, because when we continue to stay quiet in this country, that's when things don't get done. And that's when this country, this little island developing nation, Grand Cayman, Cayman Bright, and Little Cayman, we got to save and try to protect the beauty of it and try to take care of what we have left. And if we as citizens cannot open our mouth and ask for help, Cayman is in a mess all over. And people got to take pride in their properties, because yes, Mrs. Ramelia is right. These people need to be fined and ticketed. Clean your properties up. Cayman should not look like a slum. Okay?
Thank you. Leave us there. I
have a
appreciate
great
it. Thank you so
week.
much.
I will
You
tune in
too.
the morning if I'm around.
All right, darling.
God
Thank you
bless.
so much.
Bye-bye.
So, wow, some very, very salient points there. I had passed the message on to both the police commissioner as well as the NRA, because I think some of those comments are likewise for the NRA. We want to do a big birthday shout out here today to the Honorable Ralston Anglin. Today is cousin Raleigh's birthday. Hello, honey chow. Happy birthday to you. I can't sing, but I wishing you a very, very happy birthday. Please be safe and go out and enjoy your birthday. So if you see the Honorable Minister today, make sure you let him know. A little birdie in CMR told you it's his birthday. All right. Okay. All right. So, yes, we'll post up a little birthday celebration thing for him. Let me just see what else we got on the agenda. So tune in tomorrow, because on tomorrow's program, I will be playing the graduation ceremony for PWD and their recent apprenticeship program. So I'm going to schedule that today, and that will be airing tomorrow. So please join me for that. And I'll see if we can get the Cayman Airways footage up as well for the graduation. So any possibility of getting that footage today so I can air it in the morning. Okay. I think that'll be fantastic. All right. So we got plans for you for tomorrow's show. I think you're going to enjoy. Beautiful people, let's get to work. We got to make some money to pay those bills. So thank all of you, as always, for tuning in. Thank you for all of your questions and comments surrounding surrounding the Ministry Matters show today. Very, very excited. I'm actually going to do a little AI video about Ministry Matters so you guys understand exactly what it is and how it's supposed to work. So we will put that up. I'll get one of my AI agents to work on that. And look forward to more. Like I said, the premiere is coming on Monday, so make sure you tune in. He's got a whole portfolio and areas of responsibility as well. So we should be getting some details on exactly what he intends to speak on. And then I think we're going to have Minister Isaac at some point in February, and hopefully Minister Ralston Anglin will be back as well. So we'll see. Stanley, morning, sir. Says, good morning, Mrs. Hill. I'm just signing in. I want to have input on the issue with Radio Cayman. I've complained several times that the program that government allowed for the people is not what it is. Mr. OC seems to have that program as his show. Well, I guess it is his show, though. I mean, I don't know what the parameters are, but it is his show, right? At Christmas, he closed down the show for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, really? He inundates the show with news and commercials, and he cuts off people who call into the show. He chooses what messages to read. Oh my gosh, what a hot mess. Well, I guess the numbers reflect that you guys are not feeling it, because the funny thing is, I have noticed that the numbers continue to decline. There were people like, say, for example, Minister Michael Miles. He was bringing in, when he was on, more people would tend to tune in. But what I have noticed is more and more that people are not even listening when he's on. Like, he's getting a fraction of the views that he normally gets. So I'm not entirely surprised. I'm just having a look at let's just have a quick look, and then we're going to properly get to work this morning. But I'm just here having a look at their feed. Here we go. And we see some shows get as little as 10 views. And, but OC used to get, well, it just depends really. But, he had from 5 days ago, let's go under, I think if we go there, right, we can get a little bit of a better idea. But yeah, I mean, he would pull in more people when he had certain people on. Like I think Friday he had the minister on, and when I checked, he only had like 500 views. It used to be the case that Minister Miles pulled in more than that. But I think part of what's happening too is his very limited audience in Radio Cayman are kind of getting fatigued. And that's why sometimes you got to mix it up. But how's Chalo doing? Charles Glidden. Oh, what is with Chalo in this hat? He wears a hat in the studio? Is that like a Don Juan kind of thing? Interesting. So here's their new desk. Minister Kathy was on. So if you take a close look, this is what they've been upgrading. You kind of saw it in the preview video. Let me see if we can find it. But it looks like they've got a new desk too. I want to go over there and check it out. I want to see what's costing millions of dollars. Let me see if we can get a glimpse of it. There it is. There it is. There it is. So you see? Wow. Look at that fancy desk. Look at that. Wowee. Minister Miles is on there. Yes, sir. Do you guys see that? Wonder where they got that from. Was that like a custom build? Hold on. Can we do a full screen? Y'all see that nice little desk? And then it's got the wood panel look in the front that matches what's in the back. Mess with you all. Uh-huh. Okay, then. Nice little curves on it and edges. Wow. I mean, if you got the money, I guess. Yeah, it's aesthetically pleasing. But again, people don't listen to radio for aesthetics, But, it's interesting. Okay, then. I like the desk, though. I do like the desk. Mess with them. Yes, sir. I'm not going to complain because, I'd love to have their budget and not have to perform too. But in the real world, the rest of us have to perform to pay the bills. Okay. Stanley says he lost a lot of his listeners. Oh, my goodness. Good morning, Miss Ann. Yes, Mr. Stanley, we are going to be wrapping it up. But thanks for your comments. I'm sure Radio Cayman's listening, or somebody in government maybe cares about the millions of dollars. Marshall says, now you can see where the money's going. And I know they've upgraded stuff in the back. That's what I want to see. I want to see all the tech, because low key, there's so much you can do these days with the tech around podcasting, radio shows, talk shows on a very, very limited budget. There's a new piece of equipment that I am very, very interested in, but it's coming and it's part of a bigger bigly project. And I'll tell you guys about it in due course, but we're not ready yet. Not ready yet. Lady D, thank you so much. Enjoy your day as well. Plain and Straight says, I don't want to think about how many government employees have driven across that property twice a day on their way to work. With so little has been done. Which property are we talking about? Miss Juanita is asking for speed traps. I will send that across to the commissioner as well. Miss Juanita. Jim says, what do you need all of that for when you're doing fabulously well, right where you are, exactly with what you have? Your point comes across extremely well. I know. A little upgrade here and there doesn't hurt, but yeah, no, it has to be practical and it has to be something that we can justify actually spending money on. We're still live on the radio, sir. Still live on the radio.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Little.
Yes, sir.
Little.
I knew that person was not calling to be on air. All right. So, okay, I'm out. You guys have a fantastic day. Please tune in at 5:00 today for Sabrina Speaks. And, she's got you covered with more topical and interesting conversations. Somebody asked the question, I can't remember who it was, whether or not, that was Aisle 2025. Would you and OC ever do a show together that's broadcasted across both stations? I don't know how that would work. Like, I can't conceptually come together with that, Aisle 2025. I think we have very different styles, and I'm not sure that OC wants to do a show with us. And I'm not sure that Radio Cayman would ever approve such a thing. So I don't know. Somebody just sent me a video and they said, I thought that the minister, this is funny. Okay, I'm going to show this one. I'm not picking on Minister Miles, I swear. But this person just sent this to me. I'm going to show you guys a screenshot so you know I'm not lying, but you guys know I'm not a liar anyway. But I'm going to show it to you so I can prove it to you. Look at this. Let me show y'all something, honey chill. So this person says, yeah, okay, let me work on something. That was another kind of conversation. I thought he said he does not do podcasts, but he can go to someone's house and do this. Okay, let me see what he did. Hold on. So they sent the Instagram link. Let me see if I can get the Instagram link. 1 second. And somebody's house.
Thought it was just about skills. And they're like, Michael, I think it's noble of you to start this, but are you going to teach them how to show up for work on time? I said, what do you mean? I was just going to teach them how to be a trade worker. They're like, well, but we can do that. But I need them to show up to work on time. Are you going to teach them how to, wear the proper, have a lot about skills for their money? The message, have to start teaching like 99%. I really thought it was just about skills. And they're like, Michael, I think it's noble of you to start this, but are you going to teach them how to show up for work on time?
Is that Badir's show? He does that at his house. He invited me the other day. He said he's going to reach out about doing something. I didn't even know he had a podcast. Yeah, listen, the minister said what he said, and I think the minister doesn't even understand what a podcast is. So if I give him the benefit of the doubt, starting from there, that he genuinely does not understand what a podcast is, then everything else he said after that kind of makes no sense. Because even what he's doing in Radio Cayman is a podcast as well. Yes, it's on a traditional radio station, but it's also on Facebook, Instagram. Well, I don't know if they do Instagram, but YouTube. That's a podcast. So he doesn't get it. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. He just doesn't want to do CMR and he's in his feelings, Marshall. That summarizes it. And, he has that choice. I actually saw him the other day. I had a meeting of government, and, like I said, I've never really had an issue with Michael. He said, I spoke to him and he's replied and spoke back, and that was it. Sometimes we just got to get out of our feelings. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, honey child, you guys have a beautiful day. It is Friday, part 1. I'm so excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow's my husband's birthday. It's Mr. Hill's birthday. So we got to get him a little something for his birthday. I'm not sure yet what it's going to be. A hug. Special kind of squeezing. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.